Hi everyone, Seth here, January 1st. Just wanted to give out kind of an update on some general things here. So it's been a couple weeks since we last took a look at the 900. So there's a couple things going on. So I did get everything back together and the engine would start and run, and it ran okay. It ran great when it ran, but then it would want to cut out, so more on that later. Otherwise, I've just been doing some more detailing up here, just kind of cleaning up everything, making it look as nice and neat as I can. I'll go around here to the other side. Some people might call me ridiculous, but I've been cleaning up some of the painted areas underneath the hood here, like the fenders here and then down on the inside as well. So, call me crazy. I don't know. I mean, how clean should a car like this be? It's not a show car, but I don't want it to look all dirty either. It deserves better than that. So, I don't know. How clean do people keep cars like this that, because eventually this will be not a daily driver, but I want to be able to use it, but I also want to keep it in good shape. So any tips on that or comments would be appreciated. So we'll shut the hood there. So I also had some paintless dent repair done on this car. So if you look at this fender here, I have no idea where the dent was. It's completely gone. That's just totally removed. And then the other situation we had was back here on the boot, and that's pretty much gone. You can still see a little bit of it there, but that's about as good as it can be with a car like this and with materials of this age. So look inside here in the hatch. So as far as everything cutting out, I did have a couple things going on. The fuel pump just sounded terrible. I guess I could have cleaned this up a little bit better, but anyway, the fuel pump, or pumps I should say, sounded terrible. So I pulled them out and they do look pretty crusty. So I ordered this one here, and then I'm still waiting on the other one. I live just outside Harrisburg, PA, here near the Capitol, and for the last 12 days, according to the tracking information, the smaller pump there is in Harrisburg, but I don't have it. So, I can't complain. It's not that important, but still waiting on that. So with this project, when one thing kind of holds me up, I just kind of keep moving on to the next project. So the next thing I was working on was the suspension. I wanted to kind of do the rear wheels, refresh everything there, which I'll get into in a minute, before I do the front, just because I thought it would be easier. So far, no luck there. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the wheels off, replacing the rotors, the brake pads, servicing the calipers, lubricating them and everything, bleeding out the brake lines. I'm respraying the undercoating in the wheel wells. There's no plastic, it's just metal. And in the front, I had replaced the brake hoses. They're out near the calipers. No big deal. So I had gotten everything back together and was ready to bleed the brakes, get new fluid through as I do. Because I'll change all the fluids in a car like this, just like I do with any car that I buy that's sort of older. And I wasn't getting any brake pressure. So the lines are in fantastic shape. They follow along the solid beam axle rear suspension, or I guess that's what it's called. I can't remember anyway. And then the hoses are sort of towards the center of the car. And I suspected that the hoses might have been plugged, and that did in fact turn out to be the case, because I left the driver's side alone and then started working on the passenger side, and this is somewhere in between finished and untouched. But basically the hoses are back here. They come along the axle there, you can see, and this caliper is just loose right now, and then the hoses go up through the body of the car, and then the hard lines go through the car up to the master cylinder, presumably. And everything came apart actually pretty well for a 35-year-old car, especially something back here. Unfortunately, one of the flare nuts might have been cross-threaded when it was put on. It was very difficult to take off, and now it won't thread back on. So trying to think of a solution for that. I can just get a brake line, but I can't order the line, and I can't get a pre-made line with the right connection on both ends. So just working on, before I just start cutting and hacking everything out, again, working on a budget here, and trying to also use minimal materials. I'm trying to think of a good cost-effective solution there, but I'll probably get a new brake line with the custom or the pre-made fitting on one end, and then have to make my own fitting on the other end. But that does seem like it's taking care of the issue with not getting brake pressure to the rear wheels. I didn't want that to be an issue. I just want to get it fixed and all proper and correct. So let's see what else happened in the meantime. So I guess when this kind of went south, and I'm now waiting on a couple things there, I decided to start working on the headliner. So this was kind of a fun project. I've done, I guess, a little bit of upholstery, I guess, but not really anything quite like this. But I thought I'd give it a shot. It's a hatchback, so it's real easy to remove the headliner out through the back there. But I don't know if you remember, but from the other video there was duct tape on the sunroof, and everything was just peeling. I mean, if you touched it, it was all sagging too. If you touched it, your finger would go right through. The previous owner did say he replaced the headliner in the 90s, which who knows? It was done. It was ready to be replaced. So it came down pretty well. There was a crack back here which I had to tape up, and we lost a little piece over here by the light, so it won't be perfect. And then there's a really, I just can't show it on the camera, but there's a really deep hump, or right here where the sunroof is, and then it goes up a few inches there. So that was really difficult to kind of get contoured and not have it stick. But it turned out all right. There's a couple areas that aren't super great, but fine overall. And then I also redid the sail panel covers in the back, and very nice there. And the sunroof turned out okay. If you notice from my video, I had this strip in backwards. That's why it was so dirty. I looked at it later, and so it's not right. Anyway, went back and fixed that, but so far all good there. I didn't do anything on the inside of the car as far as cleaning, because I didn't want to, you know, get it clean and then have all that nasty foam start falling all over the place. So as soon as I got the headliner down, I vacuumed everything pretty well to get the dirt out, so it didn't get smushed into the carpet or seats anymore. But last evening, so again, New Year's Eve, I was out here actually working on getting things kind of cleaned up. Everything looks really good here. I'll move the light a little bit. This is terrible light, but anyway, the seating is in great shape. The vinyl's in good shape. I cleaned the glass, cleaned the weather stripping, cleaned the buckles and seat belts and headrests. Everything looks great. So I did good vacuuming here, wiped down all the hard surfaces, and then also spot cleaned and cleaned the fabric. So this car, I wouldn't call it dirty, but it definitely needed a good cleaning. I mean, I don't know how long it's been since it was last vacuumed. I don't, you know, if I have a car that sits for a month or whatever, I'm not out cleaning it. So and this car sat for a number of years. I don't know if it was cleaned before they listed it or not. Who knows? But anyway, everything cleaned up. I've detailed some things here, and then some things not. So, like I cleaned this door panel, for example, and all the glass and the door sills, and that's all nice and clean. But then I didn't get to the carpet yet because I still have to crawl in and detail the dash. So some things are done, some things aren't. But that's kind of fun. Comes along really well. Last night was kind of nutty. I mean, I was out from about 6 to about 10 o'clock. I don't stay up till midnight. I've done it twice, never again. But last night around 9:30, one of the neighbors here started setting off fireworks like every 15 minutes until midnight, which is, you know, it's fine. I don't mind around midnight. Look, I get it. It's you know, New Year's, but to start early like that, I couldn't get to sleep before the noise started to be able to sleep through it. But anyway, so that's that. So that's about it for the car as far as I know. So going forward, I got to figure out the brake line solution. I've got to wait for those pumps to get here and then get those installed, and then finish the rear side there, the wheel situation, and then start working towards the front again. And the engine ran pretty well. It'll need some tuning, but not terrible. Again, I did start cleaning some things here. The steering wheel is nice and clean. I started on the console a little bit, but not too bad. I guess that's all that's been going on lately. Other than that, the friend of mine that had the BMW 3 Series that we looked at in the last video, that's been sold, so that's gone. That's done. And I guess the other day, I posted some pictures online, but my sister was looking for a newer car. She had an 08 or an 09, I guess, I can't remember what it was, but Ford Fusion that was giving her some issues. So we were looking at a couple, which was kind of interesting. We went to a couple places. The one had a car that was a 04, 05 Honda Civic that was in great shape and no issues with it, but it was all kind of, it didn't look like it was ready at all. There was nobody around the dealership. They looked closed. It was just kind of weird. So the next place we moved on to was right down the road. We were going to look at a Corolla. We pulled up to the lot and we didn't see the Corolla, and then I spotted somebody that I had to, you know, that I knew from I don't know, years past, that sort of a professional relationship, that I didn't want to talk to the person, and I didn't really want them to see me looking for an old Corolla. So, you know, we left there, which of course later I thought of, you know, why is that guy there? He was more successful to be hanging out at a place like that. But anyway, By the way, this car is all crooked. The front tires are just completely flat, and then the back's kind of up on jack stands, so it's all crooked right now. We went to a third dealership, and there were two Honda Civics there. She was looking for a Honda Civic or maybe a Corolla. The one Civic was okay, but just kind of older and higher mileage than she was expecting. So the other one that we looked at, it was in better shape, but it had been repainted, and repainted not very well. There was a ton of overspray, and a lot of the rubber and plastic stuff had just been cooked. It wasn't in great shape. We did look at a Honda CR-V, but it was kind of older and just not, it was just kind of rough. And then I guess the next day, which would have been Thursday, we did look at an 08 Honda Civic LX that has a couple things going on with it, but otherwise it's in pretty nice shape. And they're going to take, the dealership is going to take care of the issues with it. That is the one that she ended up buying naturally, but so we'll see. We'll take a look at that. Maybe we'll make a video of it. Let's go take a look at the car now. Here it is. Again, this is an 08 Honda Civic LX, so some nice, it's not the top of the line, but some nice features on it. Alloy wheels, sunroof, things like that. I did have to take a break there. My neighbors, every time I film, somebody comes out and it's always yelling, screaming, or crying. And oh well. So there's a couple things going on with it. The Honda badge is missing, which is kind of odd. Not a big deal. These headlamps are beautiful. This is a zero accident vehicle, but they're in nice shape, so I don't know if they were replaced or polished. I've seen a lot of them that are in bad shape, so I think they were probably replaced. They both match too, so at the same time, likely. Again, nice and clean down this side as well. This rear door handle doesn't work. It doesn't work from the inside or outside. And then also these mud flaps here, they're where they fasten into the bumper. That part of the bumper is actually broken off, so the mud flap will cover it, so I just need to put some epoxy on there if they don't. I think I'd rather do it myself and then take the chance on having them do it and have them not do it the way that I would like. This car has really nice Yokohama tires, which are appropriate for this vehicle. Also has really nice brakes, new rotors in the back, and fairly new rotors and pads in the front. So again, in really nice shape there. Let's take a look inside here. Again, it's Pennsylvania, no snow. We just get this rain and mess. Anyway, this car hasn't really been detailed yet. I think they had just gotten it in, so it's not super dirty, but not super clean either. But everything's in nice shape. It's not ripped up or torn up. Really nice car, actually, overall. I'll be happy to have her in this. It'll be a lot more reliable than the old Ford, and I won't have an issue working on it either if it actually does need repaired, which is kind of the goal, something a little bit more reliable here. So anyway, we're not going to take too much of a look at this because we'll do a video on it at some point. Thanks for watching.